Okay, so in our last class, we had started with inverse variation. So we'll revise a little bit inverse variation and we'll continue with the exercise sums. Students, make your videos on Mithun, Anchal. Okay, so we'll just revise a little bit what is inverse variation. The statement y varies inversely as x, this we write it as, the meaning of this is as x increases, y decreases, or vice versa. Means as x decreases, y increases. So if one factor or if one variable decreases, the other variable will increase. When such situation happens, then we say that it is inverse variation. And x inversely varies as y, this we write it as x inversely proportional or inversely variable to y. So we write it x inversely proportional to 1 upon y. We write it like this. And when we want to convert this into equation, we write this as x is equal to k upon y, where k is called as the constant of constant. K is called as a constant. And if you want to find out the value of k, then if we take this y on the other side, it will get multiplied with x. So this becomes x into y is equal to k. So this is a way we find out the value of the constant k. This is the equation of variation, and k is called as a constant of variation. We did the first sum. No, this example sum we did in the last class. And
Sir, please do that.
sorry, what?
We have
Twinkle?
not done that first one.
What? First one?
Sir, show the inverse variation.
This one. This sum I did in the last class. In my last class I did. This is an example sum.
Okay, sir.
This is an example sum. And after that we did the second sum of practice set 7.2. Okay, we did all of these 4 sums we did. The first sum was remaining, right? So we'll do the first sum of exercise 7.2. I'll just open your textbook. Okay, so you can see practice at 7.2, the first sum. So this sum was remaining. So I'll do this sum. So the information about number of workers and number of days to complete a work is given in this following table here. And we have to complete the table. Okay, so I'll just solve it on this itself. Okay, so if you see in the first case here, number of workers is 30, and for 30 workers, it takes 6 days. Okay, number of workers here is 20. For 20 workers, it takes 9 days. So they have asked for how many workers will it take 12 days and so on. So we have to complete this table here. Now, if you note one thing, that if one variable is increasing, the next variable is decreasing. In the first case, if we see, if we call this variable number of workers, I'll call it to be variable X, and days, I'll call it to be variable Y. Okay. So if you note one thing, in the first case, variable X is increasing, so variable Y is decreasing. In the second case also, same thing is happening. So from here, one thing we can conclude that X and Y are in inverse proportion. So I'll write here X inversely proportional to Y. Now make this into equality sign. So this becomes X is equal to K upon Y. Now first what you have to do is, first thing to find out is the value of this K. That is constant of variation. That is the first thing that we have to find out. You take the, yes. So you take this Y on the other side, it will become X multiplied by Y is equal to K. Now what is the value of, just look at the side here. Huh? Now what is the value of X and Y? You see first, X is 30 and Y is 6. So to find out the value of K, substitute the values of X and Y. So this will be 30 multiplied by 6. So 30 multiplied by 6 is 180. So the value of K is 180. Now once we have found out the value of K, so I'll just write here, K is 180. Now since we have found out the value of K, now we can find out these blanks here. This first one, second one, and third one. Up to here, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's find out the value in the first blank. So I'll just erase this. Okay. Now if you see first, X we do not know, but value of Y we know, that is 12. Okay, now we'll use a constant of variation and the equation. So our equation was X into Y is equal to K. This was our equation. Value of X we do not know, keep the X variable as it is. Value of Y we know it is 12, and value of K we found out, and that is 180. So now if we take the 12 on the other side, it will get divided by 180. So X is equal to 180 divided by 12.
15.
So in this case, what is the answer?
15.
15. 1, 5. So here X is 15. So here I'll write 1, 5. In the exact same way, we'll find out the other blank. So here in this case, if you see, value of X we know and value of Y we have to find out. Okay, so I'll just erase this. So now if you see, value of X is 10 and Y we have to find out. Use again the same equation, X into Y equal to 180. X is 10, Y we have to find out, so keep variable Y as it is, and the value of K is 180. Okay, this should be K here. Okay, this should be K, and value of K is 180. Now keep Y on the one side and take 10 on the other side. When 10 go on the other side, it will get divided by 180. So 180 divided by 10, the 0, 0 you can cancel, and this becomes 18. So in this case, Y is 18. Y is 18. Now similarly, in the last case, if you see, value of X is not given and value of Y is given. So we have to find out the value of Y. So I'll solve it here. So x we have to find out, and y is 36. Can you all see, students, what I'm writing? Is
Yes,
it
sir.
visible?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So we'll use the equation x into y is equal to k. X we have to find out, so keep x as it is. Y is 36 and k is 180. Now if you take 36 on the other side, it will get divided. So 180 divided by 36. How much is this? 180 divided by 36? 5. So in this case, the value of x is 5. So this was the first sum of practice set 7.2. Okay. Now the second sum, if you see in this exercise here, second sum we have done already.
Yes,
Let's
sir, done.
Sir, can you do again?
which one?
I did second one.
Second one, there are 4 sums in the second one. Which sum you want me to do?
So I didn't attempt that last classes because of network issue. That's why.
Okay, from these 4 sums, which sum you want me to do? I'll do that one. Tell me.
So I do second one, fourth one.
Fourth one. Okay.
Yes.
So the fourth sum is x is inversely proportional to 1 upon root y. If x is 15, then y is 9. Because we have to find a constant of variation in each case. You see, find constant of variation, that is k. We have to find out k.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the fourth sum. Okay. So here it is said that x directly proportional to 1 upon root of y. Now we want to write this first. What you have to do is you have to write this in equation form. So this becomes x is equal to k upon root of y. If you take the root y on the other side, it will get multiplied. So this becomes x multiplied by root of y is equal to k. So this will become my equation. Now in the fourth sum, x is given as 15 and y is given as 9. So here in this equation, substitute the values of x and y. So x is 15 multiplied by root of y. Y is 9. So this becomes root of 9 equal to k. Now what is square root of 9? Square root of 9 is 3. So this becomes 15 into 3. 15 multiplied by 3 is
45.
45. So the value of constant of variation k is 45. In the similar way, you can do the first 3 sums, Ashutosh.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now let us move on to the third sum of this exercise. Okay, this is the third sum of exercise 7.2. This is a problem sum. First, we'll understand the problem sum, the statement of this problem sum. So the statement of this problem sum is the boxes are to be filled with apples in a heap. Okay, so there are few boxes and the boxes are to be filled with apples in a heap. Heap means one on top of the other. If 24 apples are put in a box, then 27 boxes are needed. Okay, so what the condition here is, the situation here given is there are boxes and in the boxes you have to fill apple in a heap. And if 24 apples are put in a box, in one box, if we put 24 apples, then 27 boxes are needed. Okay, if you put 24 apples in one box, then we need 27 such boxes. If 36 apples are filled in a box, then how many boxes will be needed? Okay, now the question here is asking, if we put 36 apples in one box, then how many such boxes will I need? So let us start with the solution. If the number of apples in a box is increased, okay, now just try to visualize this. If in one box, if you increase the number of apples, then obviously will require few boxes to fit all the apples. If I change the case, if I reverse the case, if you put less number of apples in one box, then you will require more boxes. Okay. If you put more number of apples in one box, then you'll require less boxes. And if you put less apples in one box, then you will require more boxes you'll require. So can you try to identify what type of variation this will be?
Inverse variation.
Inverse variation.
So suppose if the number of apples in a box is increased and the number of boxes decreases. So suppose if you take number of apples to be X and number of boxes to be Y. Okay, so that is written in the question here. Let the number of apples filled in a box be X and number of boxes be Y. Okay, number of apples are X, number of boxes are Y. Clearly, we know that these are an inverse proportion. So let us write it mathematically. So number of boxes is inversely proportional. Sorry, number of apples is inversely proportional to the number of boxes. So 1 by Y. Now we have to write this in the form of equation. So when we write this in the form of equation, this becomes X is equal to K upon Y. Take Y on the other side, so it gets multiplied. So this becomes X into Y is equal to K. Okay. Now first what you have to do is, first you have to find out the value of K, that is constant of variation. So for that we'll use this values here that is given. See, 24 apples in one box, so we require 27 boxes. So if X is 24, number of apples in one box is 24, then number of boxes will be 27. Now using these two values, substitute it in this equation here and find out the value of K. So 24 multiplied by 27 is equal to K. How much is 24 multiplied by 27?
648.
648. Now this is the value of K. This is my constant of variation. Now I still have to complete. Now the sum is still incomplete. Now after that they have asked if 36 apple in one box. So if X is 36. If 36 apple in one box, then how many such boxes you require? So if X is 36, you have to find the value of Y. Okay. Now let us do this. So substitute this in our equation, in the same equation here. So X into Y equal to 36. We know the value of X. Sorry, this should be K. X into Y equal to K. X into Y equal to K. X is 36.
Sir, your voice is not coming.
Y is...
Yes, sir.
Can you hear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
X is 36. Y we have to find out. K is 648. So substitute the value. Take 36 on the other side. So it will get divided by 648. So this will be 648 divided by 36. How much is 648 divided by 36?
18.
18. 18. So the value of Y is 18. Is this clear? How 18?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So the final answer, number of boxes needed are 18. So this was a problem sum based on inverse variation. Let us move on to the next sum. This is the fourth sum of exercise 7.2. So write the following statements using symbol of variation. So this is the easiest one. So we have to use a symbol of variation and write the following sum. So the first one, if you see, the wavelength of sound denoted by L and its frequency denoted by F are in inverse variation. So just looking at the statement, you will able to form the symbol of the statement. So if you see first one, wavelength of sound L and its frequency F, and it is given in the question, they are in inverse variation. So this statement can be written using symbol of variation as L inversely proportional to 1 upon F. Look at the second one. The intensity I of light varies inversely with the square of the distance. Okay, now
Sir,
make note of the question properly. The intensity I of the light varies inversely with the square of the distance of a screen from the lamp. So this point you have to, don't miss this. It is scared. It is said square of the distance. So how will you write this? This statement can be written as I inversely proportional to 1 upon d square. Okay, because here in the question it was mentioned square of the distance d. That is why it is the symbolic form of this statement will be I inversely proportional to 1 upon d square. Okay, so this was just writing the symbolic form. Is this clear how to write a symbolic form? Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Yes.
This is the fifth sum. Others, are you all understanding? Aryan? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Others also answer. Okay, now this is fifth sum of exercise 7.2. In this it is said, if x is inversely proportional to 1 upon root y, when x is 40 and y 16. And then it is said, if x is 10, find the value of y. Okay, this is a very easy sum. Inverse variation is given, value of x is given, value of y is given. And then another case is said, if x is 10, we have to find out the value of y. So first what we'll do is, first using these two values, using this and this, we'll find out the value of k, that is constant of a variation. So let us start with the sum. Given in the question, x inversely proportional to 1 upon root of y. First thing that you have to do is write this into equation. So this will become x equal to k upon root of y. Aditya Dumbre, are you paying attention?
Yes, sir.
Okay. X is equal to k upon root of y. Now you take the root of y on the other side. So this will become x multiplied by root of y equal to k. So this is my equation. Now in the question, x is 40 is given and y 16 is given. Substitute this value here and find out the value of k.
Okay.
So this will be 40 multiplied by
6.
root of 16 is equal to k.
Okay.
16 square
So this
4.
will be, yeah, square root of 16 is 4. So write it 4. And 40 multiplied by 4 will be
160.
160. Very good. 160. Now we have got the value of k. Now
Yeah.
in the question it is said if x is 10, we have to find out the value of y. Now we'll use our equation x into root of y equal to k. Substitute the values. X is 10. Y we have to find out, so keep root of y as it is. And k
160.
is 160.
Yes, sir.
Take 10 on the other side, it will get divided by 160. So this is 160 divided by 10. 0 and 0 will get cancelled. So you'll get root of y
16.
is
16.
equal to 16. Now note one thing here, root of y is 16. Okay, root of y is 16. So what you do is you square both the sides. So square both sides. So when you square both sides, this will become root of y square equal to 16 square. Okay, the reason why we are taking square on both the sides is because I want to remove this root sign from y. Okay, that is the reason we are taking square on both sides. So this becomes, now in this case, this square root and square on y will get cancelled. Okay, that is just the way we say it, but it gets cancelled. So this will become y. And you know 16 square is
256.
256. So the value of y is 256.
256.
Go through this sum. If you have doubts, you can ask me. Go through this sum, students. Just don't get confused here why we are squaring it. We are not taking square root. We are squaring both the sides. There is a difference between taking square on both the sides and taking square root on both the sides. In this case, we are taking square on both sides.
Okay, sir. One second.
Okay, let us move on to the next sum.
So you will send the PDF of this lesson.
Yes, yes. The PDF
Son,
will be,
don't drop it.
sorry? What
Don't
happened?
drop it.
Don't, what?
Don't erase it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, sir. Now you can.
Okay. Shritika, are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And next is the sixth sum of exercise 7.2. So the sixth sum is also almost similar to the fifth sum. It is very much similar to the fifth sum, but it is easier than the fifth sum. So here it is said, if x varies inversely as y. Okay, if x varies inversely as y, and when x is 15, y is 10. And if x is 20, then we have to find out the value of y.
Sir,
Yes?
this is the same way, but we don't have to remove square.
Yeah, you don't have to take the square, correct. Same way, but you don't have to take square. So let's write what all is given. So it said x inversely proportional to y. So x inversely proportional to 1 upon y. First thing is, write this in the equation form. So this becomes x is equal to k upon y. After that, you take y on the other side, it will get multiplied. So x multiplied by y equal to k. This is my equation of variation. Now, in the question, it is given x is 15 and y is 10. This is given in the question. Substitute these values in the equation and find out the value of k. So x is 15 multiplied by 10 equal to k. Yes, 15 multiplied by 10 is 150. Now we know the value of k. Now, if x is 20, we have to find out the value of y. Use your equation x into y equal to k. X is 20, y keep as it is, and k we just found out, that is 150. So y is equal to, if you take 20 on the other side, it will get divided by 150. So 150 divided by 20.
7.5.
Yeah. So 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So this is the value of y, 7.5. Go through this sum.
Sir, you done 15 to 10, then k is equal to.
Sorry, what? 15 into?
Sir, explain the y is equal to 7.5.
15 divided by 2. 15 divided by 2. You know division, right? You want me to show the division? 15 divided by 2. We divide 15 by 2. So 2 7s are 14. 0, 1 here. Then you put a decimal point. Then 0 comes here. 2 into 5. 2 5s are 10. This becomes 0. That's how you get 7.5. 15 divided by 2. Now is it clear, Nishika?
Yes, sir. Ping.
Okay, let us move forward.
Sir, wait for 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, sir,
Okay. Yes.
over.
Yes. Now the next exercise, it is based on problem sum. So we are finished with the exercise 7.2. Now the next exercise is 7.3, and in 7.3 we have all problem sums. Those problem sums are based on time, work, and speed. They are based on these three factors: time, work, and speed. So example related to numbers of workers and time taken to finish the work. Now in the problem sums, whenever there are examples or whenever the problem sums are on number of workers and the time taken by those workers to finish the work, you should understand that it is inverse variation. Even if inverse variation is not written, you should understand that that sum will be of inverse variation type. Okay, so if the sum has number of workers and the time they require to finish that work, blindly inverse variation. Second, you see, similarly, there are examples related to time taken to cover a distance by a vehicle and its uniform speed. If the question or if the problem sum is about a vehicle and how much time that vehicle takes to travel. So if the problem sum is time taken by the vehicle to cover a distance, that sum will also be on inverse variation. Okay, so such are examples of variation related to time, work, and speed. Okay, so whenever you see in your question or in your problem sum that problem is related to time, work, or speed, then that problem sum will be on inverse variation. Okay, is this clear? When will the problem sum be inverse variation? In 7.3, or all sums are based on time, work, and speed. And whenever your problem sum is based on time, work, and speed, that problem sum will be on inverse variation.
Yes.
So let us start with this exercise. So this is exercise 7.3. 7.3, the first sum. Which of the following statement are of inverse variation? So we just have to read the statement and we have to tell whether which one of them are in inverse variation. So see the first one. Number of workers on a job and time taken by them to complete the job. So this we already saw this
Inverse.
point before. This will be inverse variation. So the number of workers on a job and time taken by them to complete the job are inverse variation. Now just try to understand why this is inverse, okay? I'll explain you why it is inverse. Okay, so suppose if some work has to be done. Okay, I'll give it to you with an example. Okay. Suppose this is a building and the glasses of this building has to be cleaned, okay? The glasses of this building has to be cleaned. So,
So your work is
if there are three workers who have to clean this job, who have to do this work, they have to clean the glasses of this building. Obviously, how much time will they take? Suppose three workers, you have two groups of people. So first is three workers and the second group is two workers. Now let us try to identify the time taken by them. Obviously three workers, so there are more people cleaning the building, cleaning the glasses of the building. So there will take less time. And here there are less workers cleaning the glasses of the building. So they will take more time here. So this is the reason why the first number of workers on the job and the time taken by them are in inverse proportion. Okay, so understand the meaning of it as well. So if there are more workers, less time. If there are less workers, more time to do the job. Okay, see the second one. Number of pipes of the same size to fill a tank and the time taken by them to fill the tank.
Inverse.
Okay, I'll explain this statement and then you again tell me whether it is inverse or not inverse. Suppose this is a tank and we'll have pipe from the right side and from the left side for examples. So suppose this is one pipe here and this is two pipe. This is a second pipe. So I'll call this pipe 1 and pipe 2. Now pipe 2 is closed. Okay, pipe 2 is closed suppose and pipe 1 is opened. Okay, so pipe 1 is open and water is flowing. Now, how much time will it take for pipe 1 to fill the tank?
more.
Okay, now just keep this question in mind, the time that pipe 1 will take. Now, if you make pipe 2 also on, so suppose pipe 2 is also on. Now, how much time will the tank take? Will it become faster or slower? It will
Faster.
Yeah, it will faster. The tank will fill faster. So if both the tanks are on, both the pipes are on, then the tank will fill faster. If there is one more pipe, suppose, if there is one more pipe, I'll call it P3, and this pipe is also on, then again the tank will fill faster. Now, if you increase the number of pipes here, if you increase the number of pipes, the time taken by the tank to fill with water will also increase. So if there are more number of pipes,
Like
more
that,
taps are on, and the tank will fill faster.
स्क्रीनशॉट एंड में लेना है अब ज्यादा देर तक
So now can you tell me what type of variation will this? More pipes,
Inverse.
faster. No, it's not decreasing.
Inverse
I'm
proportion.
I am increasing the number of pipes.
Direct proportion.
I am
Direct
increasing.
variation.
Yeah, direct variation. You are increasing the number of pipes, so the tank is getting filled faster. So increasing number of pipes are increasing. The time that the tank will take to fill will also become faster. So this is an example of direct variation. Okay, this is an example of direct variation. Okay, here I by mistake written inverse, but it is an example of direct variation. Okay, look at the third one. Petrol filled in the tank of a vehicle and its cost. Can you tell me this, inverse or direct?
Direct.
Petrol filled in the tank and the cost.
Direct variation.
Correct, very good. Direct. So more the petrol, more the cost of the petrol. So that is an example of direct variation. Last one, area of a circle and its radius. This we already
Direct
did.
variation.
Direct variation. So the area of a circle and the radius. So if the radius of the circle increase, area will also increase. If the radius of the circle decrease, area will also decrease. So the area of the circle and its radius are in direct proportion.
Proportion.
So this was just identifying whether it is direct or inverse. Let us move to the second problem sum. So this is a very easy sum of exercise 7.3. Okay. The question says, if 15 workers can build a wall. Okay, now so this is based on workers and the time taken by the workers. If 15 workers can build a wall in 48 hours, how many workers will be required to do the same work in 30 hours? Now, one thing to note that in the question, nowhere it is mentioned that it is inverse variation. But now, since you already know, when it is number of workers and time involved for those workers to complete the work, then such type of problem will be of inverse variation only. Inverse variation only. Okay, so wait, students, before I continue for attendance, so just write present in the chat box, everyone. For attendance, write
Sir,
present.
the worker will be a more.
Worker will be what?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Workers will be what? More. Yes.
Sir.
So let us start. The number of hours required to build a wall is inversely proportional to the number of workers employed. Okay, so number of workers to build a wall is inversely proportional to the number of workers employed. So the number of hours, I'll take it to be H. So how much time? The time is measured in hours. So how much time they require is H, and number of workers W. Now the number of time, the time taken will be inversely proportional to the number of workers. So H inversely proportional to 1 upon W. So H is nothing but the time taken by the workers to complete the work and the time measured in hours. Okay, that is why H. And W is the number of workers. So number of H is inversely proportional to 1 upon W. Is this clear? Why H inversely proportional to 1 upon W? What is H and what is W?
Yes.
सर प्रेजेंट कैसे देनी है
Write present in the chat box.
Sir, we have to write our roll number only, no?
No, just write present. You have named yourself properly, no? Your name is proper on Zoom, so just write present on the chat box.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now here if you see H inversely proportional to 1 upon W. Now this we have to write in form of equation. So this will become H equal to K upon W. Take W on the other side, it will get multiplied. H multiplied by W equal to K. So this is my equation. Now, if you look in the question, if number of workers is 15 and 15 workers finish the work in 48 hours. Okay, 15 workers finish the work in 48 hours. Now using these values, we'll find out the value of K. Substitute this value here. This becomes 15 multiplied by 48. $15 multiplied by 48 will give you K. So how much is 15 multiplied by 48?
720.
20. So 15 multiplied by 48 is 720. So I've got the value of K. K is 720. Now, in the question they have asked, how many workers will be required to complete the work in 30 hours? So, number of workers we have to find out when H is 30. Now we'll use the same equation. H into W equal to K. H is 30. Number of workers W we have to find out. And K is 720. Take 30 on the other side. It will get divided by 720. So 720 divided by 30.
24.
720
sir.
24.
by 30. So this will become 0 and 0. You can cancel. 3 1s are 3 2s are 6 and 3 4s are 12. And that's how you get 24.
24.
The number of workers required. So there are 24 workers are required to complete the work in 30 hours. Okay, so 24 workers
Peanut butter required.
are required.
Peanut butter किस चॉकलेट है? अन्य से फ्रीज कर दी पीनट बटर ने.
To complete the work in 30 hours. Go through this sum, students. Go through this sum. Yes, Anijay, you have any doubt?
No, sir.
There you make your video on. Make your video on. There you and you are in the same class, 8th standard, both of you.
Yes. Here and Sitesh.
Okay. Which division are you all in? Both? There you and
Sir,
Sitesh?
B.
B division. Okay. I will paying attention.
B.
Both of you all. I will paying attention. I will understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes sir.
Okay. We have 5 minutes remaining.
Sir, more than of the videos off.
Friends, make your videos on. For attendance, I hope everyone has written present in the chat box. Okay. This is the third sum of exercise 7.3. We'll stop after this sum. Okay, I think Aarti ma'am is already there. Aarti ma'am, is it your class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll stop here.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir, because of network issue, I have not set when you are explaining 7.1 class.
Hmm.
So can you send the notes in the group?
Yes. We'll send the notes in the group. Also, you can check the YouTube videos, and also you can check the Zoom recording, which is available on the website. Okay, the Zoom recording will be available on the school website.
Sir,
Yes.
you have not sent the notes of Vedic maths.
Vedic Maths notes will be available on your website. The notes and the video both.